Welcome to World News Tonight. Making his case, a turbocharged Joe Biden showing his passion.
I'm mad. I'm angry.
Is he getting ready to run? As a new poll shows Hillary Clinton weakening, now second to Bernie Sanders in a key state and losing ground in another. Is this race about to change? Tipping point. Hundreds of thousands of refugees fleeing from Syria, now triggering a global crisis as they crush European borders. Many tonight are now asking, what role will the U.S. play? Officer ambushed. Another attack on police, this time in Las Vegas. A man shooting at two officers stopped at a traffic light. Blindsided. Two high school football players in Texas caught on video suddenly tackling a referee. Why police are now looking into this penalty play.
From ABC News World Headquarters, this is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
And good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Labor Day. I'm Tom Yamas, in for David tonight. We begin with what looked and sounded a lot like a man running for president. A fired-up Joe Biden kicking off a Labor Day parade in Pittsburgh. Biden's bounce comes at a troubling time for Hillary Clinton's campaign, which is now facing a tough fight from Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders in the key states of New Hampshire and Iowa. We begin tonight with ABC's Cecilia Vega.
Is this a man in the running? Joe Biden sprinted along a Labor Day parade route in Pennsylvania today, zigzagging from babies to senior citizens, shaking hands, taking selfies.
Hey, guys.
What a difference a holiday weekend makes. The vice president joking when a supporter urged him to enter the race.
You got to talk to my wife about that. I've got to talk to my wife about that.
But just last week, this, a heartbroken Biden, unsure whether it's too soon following the death of his son Beau in May from brain cancer.
Can my family undertake what is an arduous commitment that would be proud to undertake under ordinary circumstances? But the honest-to-God answer is I just don't know.
A decision perhaps made easier by Hillary Clinton's serious slide in the polls in two critical states. In New Hampshire, Clinton losing her standing as a frontrunner, now trailing Bernie Sanders by 9 points. Clinton feeling the burn in Iowa, too, her lead slipping there, now down to just 11 points after trouncing Sanders earlier this summer.
You go, girl.
On the campaign trail today, Clinton sticking so closely to her message, she's losing her voice.
I believe I've got the vision, the policies, the skill, the tenacity, and the determination to get us back on the right track.
And Cecilia joins us now on set. And it's not just those poll numbers, Cecilia, that are dogging her, also the emails. And she's saying she's not going to apologize?
Back in the headlines once again, she says that she does not need to apologize for having that private email in that home server, telling the Associated Press today, quote, what I did was allowed. Hillary Clinton denied also that this email controversy is damaging her campaign, but she did, Tom, today concede that it has become a distraction for her bid for the White House.
That it has. Okay, Cecilia, thank you so much. Now to our other top story on this Labor Day. Millions of Americans facing punishing weather, from torrential downpours sparking flash flooding in the Midwest to another heat wave set to sizzle the eastern U.S. from Pittsburgh to D.C. to New York. ABC senior meteorologist Rob Marciano has the latest.
Powerful weekend storms scattering beachgoers in Florida. The last unofficial day of summer with beaches almost empty. Only a brave few out roaming the sands this morning. Time-lapse video showing the light show off the Palm Beach coast and above the Nebraska plains. In Carroll, Iowa, rain falling at 2 inches per hour. This street turning into a river, swamping cars.
It just came down within a matter of seconds, and there's not a whole lot we could do about it.
The inside of that man's car now filled with dirt and debris. This creek in Augusta, Wisconsin, still swollen after a half foot of rain in less than 12 hours.
You can see it washed right on out.
In nearby Oliva, floodwaters overnight leaving behind a muddy mess. Clear skies in Southern California, but rip currents and waves at Newport Beach well over 10 feet high. Lifeguards rescuing hundreds of swimmers up and down the coast this weekend.
I just was so far out there that I couldn't get back. I had no idea that it was so powerful.
And Rob joins us on set now. The Midwest facing some extreme weather?
Yeah, wind reports of up to 80 miles per hour and at least one tornado report along the Kansas-Nebraska border. Take a look at the radar, Tom. We've got a severe thunderstorm watch out there till 9 p.m. Eastern or Central, and these storms will continue to fire. Some of them are going to have some heavy rain getting into southern Iowa, which is already soggy, potential flooding there. This is all along a cold front. Ahead of the front, very, very hot. Records falling today in Newark, 94, 93 in Boston. That's an all-time record. Just as hot tomorrow, but it's going to be more humid, so summer heat goes beyond this Labor Day holiday.
And Rob, last night we were talking about Grace. Tonight, what's happening in the tropics?
You know, Tom, we're in the peak of hurricane season, but El Nino has kept this year in check, and Grace, a weak storm and continuing to weaken. Here's the track, a pretty ominous one, but likely to diminish and die out in the Atlantic like so many storms have this season, and we will take it.
Oh, yeah, some good news. Rob, thank you so much. Next, we turn now overseas to that growing humanitarian crisis. Hundreds of thousands of refugees fleeing brutal violence in the Middle East, rushing across European borders. Germany opening its doors, welcoming nearly 20,000 refugees this weekend alone. And tonight, pressure growing on the United States. ABC's Alex Marquardt has that story from Munich.
Confrontations today in Hungary between police and refugees. And in Greece, the waves of people keep on coming.
It's on biblical proportions. You know, the people are coming quicker than we can load them.
More than 20,000 arriving in Germany in the past 3 days. Big smiles as they're warmly welcomed. Chancellor Angela Merkel says Germany is ready to take in 800,000 people this year and has urged other European countries to step up. Those who just arrived are immediately placed in makeshift shelters.
This was a Volkswagen dealership that just in the past few days has been converted into a refugee center. Over here is the medical area for anyone who needs treatment. Back here, a playroom for the kids. And then out here in the main room, mountains of clothes that have been donated by residents of Munich.
Fawaz Faour arrived in Munich at 3 a.m. this morning after fleeing Syria a month ago with his wife and 4 sons.
I'm running from the war because I'm looking to the future for my child.
Little Mohamed, the youngest, blissfully unaware his house lies in ruins. Germany now his new home. Pressure is now growing for the U.S. to take in more refugees. Just 1,500 over the past 4 years. A group of Democratic senators want to see that raised to 65,000, while some Republicans say it's a security threat.
Today, both France and the UK announced new plans, saying they'll take in a combined 44,000 refugees over the next several years. But there's still a lot of work to be done to come up with a comprehensive plan for this humanitarian crisis. Tom?
And the numbers growing every day. Alex Marquardt from Munich for us. Alex, thank you. Also overseas tonight, Pope Francis set to release new rules regarding how the Catholic Church annuls marriages. Just days after our David Muir sat down exclusively with the pontiff, His Holiness is expected tomorrow to outline a new streamlined procedure for annulments after decades of complaints that the current system often forces couples to spend thousands in legal fees and wait years for a ruling. Back here at home, the Minnesota dentist whose killing of a lion sparked global outrage is finally breaking his silence. More than 2 months after killing Cecil, Zimbabwe's most celebrated lion, Dr. Walter Palmer says he's ready to go back to work and insists he did nothing wrong. Here's ABC's David Wright.
Tomorrow, for the first time since the protesters shut it down, this Minnesota dental clinic is expected to be back open for business. Dr. Walter Palmer is now breaking his silence for the first time since his controversial hunt, speaking to reporters from the Minneapolis Star-Tribune and the Associated Press, who described him as tense.
Bright, white smile. We never saw that smile during the interview. It was very businesslike.
He told them, if I had known this lion had a name and was important to the country or a study, obviously I wouldn't have taken it. Palmer insisted the hunt didn't break any laws, and he disputed those early reports that said he wounded Cecil, then stalked him for another 40 hours. Palmer told the reporters the interval was much shorter. Palmer hasn't been seen in public for months, his home vandalized, his family receiving death threats. I've been out of the public eye. That doesn't mean I'm in hiding, he said.
He mentioned that he's been concerned about the safety of his family. He said his wife and his daughter in particular.
The question now, will his patients come back?
On one side, he is an excellent dentist, phenomenal, very high quality. But on the other hand, I don't agree with some of the things that ethically that he's done.
For his part, Palmer says he's heartbroken for his staff,
Extradite Palmer!
whose lives have now been disrupted. David Wright, ABC News, New York.
Next to honoring a life cut short, thousands of police officers from coast to coast converged on Fox Lake, Illinois for an 18-mile-long funeral procession to pay their respects and give a final salute to Lieutenant Charles Joseph Glinowitz. The 52-year-old Army veteran and father of 4 sons died just weeks away from retirement, shot to death during a pursuit of 3 suspects who are still on the run. And now to another police shooting, this time in Las Vegas. 2 officers ambushed right inside of their patrol car, the second police shooting in just 2 days there. It has police on high alert tonight amid a growing worry that officers are increasingly becoming a prime target of violence. ABC's Ryan Owens has the latest.
We have an officer possibly hit by gunfire.
Ambushed at a Las Vegas red light. A man with a semi-automatic gun walks up to a patrol car with 2 police officers inside and opens fire. One of the officers shot in the hand, radios for help.
Shots fired. 12 from Nellis. Unhit. 7-11. Southeast side.
The other officer is uninjured and chases down the suspect. Police arrest him without firing a shot. Sunday shooting, the second time in just 2 days a police officer is shot in Vegas. Friday, 2 men arrested accused of shooting at cops with an AK-47 during an alleged burglary. 1 officer shot in the leg. That shooting forcing a change in protocol. Las Vegas officers must now work in pairs.
The sheriff mandated that it was 2 men to a car, 2 officers to a car.
Those twin shootings come within weeks of several other disturbing attacks on law enforcement. Texas Sheriff's Deputy Darren Goforth murdered execution style while he was filling up his patrol car at this gas station outside Houston. And Louisiana State Trooper Stephen Vincent, shot in the head by a motorist he stopped to help. Both of the officers shot in Las Vegas are recovering tonight and expected to be okay. But those shootings yet another reminder of the dangers officers face just for wearing the uniform. Tom?
Ryan, thank you. Moving on now to Kentucky, where that county clerk who refuses to issue marriage licenses to gay couples is spending her 4th day behind bars. Lawyers for Kim Davis have filed an appeal, hoping to reverse a judge's contempt of court ruling. Davis says same-sex marriage violates her Christian beliefs. Hundreds of people attended a rally today to support her. Another rally is planned tomorrow. Meantime, 5 of her deputies are now issuing those licenses. And we turn now to a bizarre crime out of Washington State. A suspected squatter is on the run from police after allegedly moving into one family's home south of Seattle while they were away and selling off their possessions online. ABC's Neil Karlinski now with this different kind of inside job.
Coming home to a stranger in your house is terrifying, but when Ed Sowers came to check on the house he'd just moved out of and was planning to sell, he found a man inside who was just as surprised as he was.
And he said, "Well, I'm here for the microwave." I said, "Well, no, you're not. This is my house. I'm not selling anything." So I walked around the corner and I saw that my appliances were gone.
He says a stranger didn't just rob him, he broke in and set up a virtual store, methodically selling his belongings online. The microwave, washer, dryer, even the refrigerator and tools, all up for sale on the internet.
The washer and dryer used to be there.
Tonight, Sowers says police are looking for this man, captured running out the back on a neighbor's surveillance camera, who he says was squatting in his house and ripping him off piece by piece. We've seen cases coast to coast of squatters moving into empty homes, even mansions to live in, but never to set up a web store of stolen loot.
Well, the money is not the issue. It's a violation. The fact that somebody would come in and have a yard sale, right out of my front door.
Tonight, police are warning homeowners to keep an eye on their property even after they move out. Neil Karlinski, ABC News, Seattle.
Back now with a brutal hit on the football field that is now at the center of a criminal investigation. Video of the play shows 2 high school football players targeting one of the referees in a surprise and dangerous attack. ABC's TJ Holmes on the story tonight.
The referee has no idea what's coming, violently blindsided in what appears to be an intentional hit by 2 high school football players. Watch as the defensive back from John Jay High School in Texas runs directly at the referee as soon as the play begins. And then, once the ref is on the ground, another player dives into him head first.
It's going to be very difficult for those players to say that this is just unintentional.
The players involved in this incident were also ejected and are suspended from the team and school in what has now become a police investigation. nation. Texas is one of 23 states with laws that specifically make assaulting a referee a crime.
Those state laws were written mainly with unruly sports fans and even parents in mind, because unfortunately, going after referees is something we have seen before.
This ugly incident in 2011, when players and fans unhappy with the call take down a Florida youth football referee. The ref filed a lawsuit and settled for more than $250,000.
It's a tradition to hate the referee and to get in their grill and agitate, and it's a real dangerous part of the culture.
A culture where bad sportsmanship could cross the line into criminal behavior. TJ Holmes, ABC News, New York.
Our index tonight starting with breaking news on the search for a blue whale tangled up in fishing lines out in the Pacific. It got away from rescue crews off the coast of California on Friday. The whale is towing more than 100 feet of fishing line attached to a buoy. But tonight there is hope of fishing vessels spotting the whale off the coast of Tijuana, Mexico. Crews now working on a plan to resume that rescue. Now Thailand and a mystery fireball spotted in the sky. Check this out. Dashcam video captured the bright flash that appeared to be falling toward the ground, leaving a white trail of smoke behind. Still no confirmation on what it is, whether it was a meteorite or a piece of space junk burning up as it fell from the sky. And a major discovery in the UK that some archaeologists are calling Superhenge. Not far from the Stonehenge site, this video visualization shows what researchers say are nearly 100 massive stones buried just 3 feet beneath the surface. They say this monument once dwarfed the Stonehenge that's still standing. One archaeologist saying, quote, "It has been under our noses for something like 4,000 years. It's truly remarkable." And so many talking about this NFL tweet that might be an outright snub of one of the league's star players. Take a look at this photo featuring 7 of the game's top quarterbacks. Notice anyone missing? Keep looking. That's right, no sign of Tom Brady, who just won his court battle against the league, overturning the Deflategate suspension. The photo has now been taken down. Finally tonight, the Sister Act playing out at the U.S. Open. The Williams sisters about to face their toughest opponents yet, each other. Venus now standing between Serena's dream of winning a Grand Slam. She says she doesn't want to be a spoiler, but she does want to win. And now the world is watching this sibling rivalry on center court. Here's ABC's Lindsay Janis.
Top seed Serena Williams smashing her way into the U.S. Open quarterfinals. The 33-year-old now one step closer to becoming the first tennis player since 1988 to win what's known as a calendar Grand Slam, taking all 4 major tournaments in 1 year. But standing between her and glory, older sister Venus.
She's playing great. She had I barely had time to get ready for my match today because she played so fast.
The 35-year-old Venus making a comeback, chasing her first major title in 7 years, but struggling to emerge from her little sister's shadow.
What has it been like to live the most public of sporting sibling rivalries in the history of sports?
Awesome. It's been awesome.
And Serena's feeling the pressure.
She's a player that knows how to win and knows how to beat me and knows my weaknesses better than anyone.
It'll be the 27th time the sisters have faced off against each other. Serena beating Venus 15 times, most recently on her way to the Wimbledon title in July.
Serena is favored to win tomorrow's match, but don't count Venus out just yet. The two have played each other 4 times here at the U.S. Open, with each winning twice.
Whichever way it goes, there's one thing for sure.
Williams will be in the semis, so that's good.
Lindsay Janis, ABC News at the U.S. Open in New York.
And we'll be watching. Thank you for watching. I'm Tom Yamas. David Muir is right back here tomorrow night. Have a great evening. Good night.
Every day, more Americans choose ABC News, America's #1 news source.